Hey guys, Austin here with Bourboneering YouTube channel, and I'm trying something new today and I'm super excited. I finally got my hands on a bottle that I've really been wanting for a long time. So I'm going to share it with you and ask, is it worth it? First, I want to thank our sponsor for this show, which is the Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge. You can see this hat here. I love these guys. I talk about them all the time before they even sponsor the show. But now that they're sponsors, it's just even more fantastic. You'll hear about them later in the episode. But let's talk about this new concept I'm going for. So I recently started where I do single barrel reviews, and I started with a really fancy single barrel, 15-year Whistle Pig. If I'm gonna get a lot more fancy bottles, which maybe I will, I don't know. I don't really have a lot now, but if I do, I'm gonna do this concept of is it worth it. So I'm gonna review it in front of you for one thing, and I'm gonna pick something out that I already have that I think could be comparable. Not necessarily in price, but something that's a way more available, or maybe way cheaper, and see if it's worth it. So today we're starting with the one that I just got my hands on. In fact, the wrapper's still on it, and is Blanton's single barrel straight from the barrel. This is a barrel proof version of Blanton's. Obviously, you can see how dark it is. Man, it's awesome. In case you're curious, this is a letter A topper. If you collect all the toppers, you can, it's kind of a rite of passage, if you will. See how I get this shrink wrap off. Didn't really think about this, doing this on camera. Well, I have a pin right here. There's no cheater marks, no perforations. This is a legitimate cork popping here. It's beautiful. So this is bottle 106 of I don't know how many in the thing. Let's see. Dumped on September 26th of 2019. So I was still in college at the time. It's a barrel number 363, warehouse H, Rick 56, and then it's 65.15% alcohol by volume. So it's 130.3 proof, unfiltered, uncut, funny, and bottled straight from the barrel. This is 700 milliliters, centiliters, 70 centiliters, so 700 milliliters. Interesting. A little smaller than a regular bottle of Blanton's in. Trying to figure out, oh, there's the wax. Yeah. Wax is removed. Got the weird plastic thing removed. Let's give her a pop, shall we? Kind of disappointing. Why do I smell the cork? I don't know. It's a nice hefty cork. It's a regular bottle. It's a different label of Blanton's. If you ever had that before. Oh, I don't want to pour too much. It's a hard bottle to pour from, but it looks really cool on the shelf. Plus the taters love it. Am I a tater? Maybe. All right. Give this a quick review, and then we'll see if it's worth it. Again, this is the first pour, and I haven't let it air. So this is first impressions. Buffalo Trace juice. It's just like a turned up Buffalo Trace. And like Blanton's too. When I say Buffalo Trace, I meant Blanton's, excuse me. Like the regular Blanton's. A little perfumey. Good deep caramel note in there. But it's not burning my nose for 130.3 proof. It's really not burning my nose. A little bit. Floral, definitely floral. Like perfume-ish. That's the main note. A little bit of cinnamon and baking spice, but really caramel is kind of the backup note here. It's not as complex as I thought it would be. It is, but for the price, I'll give you the price in a second. Let's see. That's like a good grandma's sweet tea. That floral note's definitely there, but it's kind of that tannin and then that warming sweetness, like a good dark brown sugar and caramel. And it just finishes like a good sweet tea. Like down home iced sweet tea. If you don't know what iced sweet tea tastes like, you need to find a southern grandma and get her to make you some, because it is That is exactly what it is. Alcoholic sweet tea in a good way. Not just someone poured vodka in a sweet tea. Like, oh, and I can't believe it's 130. It drinks like maybe 110, 100 proof. I see why this bottle is so sought after. Good Lord, that is so good. I honestly was not expecting to be this good. You get a Kentucky hug, but it's not really burning in the mouth. Yo, I'm blown away by this. I know I'm not giving you tasting notes. I'm just lost in how good this sweet tea whiskey is. Warming, nice, long finish. Again, the finish, all I get is that sweet tea finish, like I'm drinking a fresh glass. It really reminds me of my grandparents' house. That's why, maybe that's, kind of why I like it so much. I could drink a lot of this, which is dangerous because it's so high proof and it's hard to find and expensive. So I don't want to drink too much of it. One more sip, give you a few more notes, and I'll give you some details on the bottle. I'm pulling up my phone for my notes on the price of this. Basically, so if you don't know, this is a real hard to find bottle. It's available in the US-ish, but not really. I got this. I went in on an order with a friend from a online retailer. And I'll tell you what I paid for it. I'm also going to pull up what it kind of goes for. Let's see. Okay, so just searching it online, it's like $400. That's definitely a secondary price. $400, $500. I did not pay that much. The prices I paid, so I got this in a Blanton's Gold, which is another hard to find bottle. It just happened to drop at the same time. I think it's $103.75. That's before tax and that's before shipping. So we got a bunch of bottles to help discount the shipping costs a little bit. It's before tax, but that's retail. That's basically retail price. It's a fantastic price on this, but it's so hard to find. You got to be part of different groups that are different online retailers that drop them every so often, and just stay on top of it and go as soon as you can. It is hard to find. It is a pain. I'm kind of sad I enjoy it so much. I knew it was going to be great, but I didn't think it'd be this good. I was going to tell you an alternative that you can definitely get, and I have it sitting right here, but I don't know. We'll have to compare it and see. So good. All right, before we get to my comparison here, I'm going to tell you about the Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge. These guys, the guys and girls, just some of the things I'm trying to hit on different aspects every time for different videos. Just so many great things we do. One of my podcasts, I have a few samples that I was able to get through the Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge, and that's because we do weekly Zooms where we try different whiskeys. We get samples of them, try different whiskeys, and usually that involves talking with a brand rep or an owner or a master distiller about their whiskey while we try it. It helped me make some great connections in that respect, and it's just a lot of fun to do. On top of that, things I talk about all the time is the charity events we put on. Every charity event is a local charity. Usually there's a bottle raffle involved. There's usually a get-together, whether virtual or in person, involved. Hopefully a lot more in person coming up soon when everything calms down. Just all around great group, and of course the most important part is the community. A community that welcomes you wherever you are in your whiskey journey. A lot of fun, a lot of silliness. We get together when we can. Again, both virtually and in person. Hopefully more in person coming soon. But it's a great group of people. You're always welcome at any level you're at. So thanks again to the Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge for sponsoring. I call them Be Sober. I might refer to them Be Sober throughout the rest of this video. But great group. And here's the logo on the hat. Check out, it's... Wow, I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm so sorry. It's bourbonbr.com/join for membership. bourbonbr.com/join. Again, thanks to those guys over there. All right, so you really want to try this, but you can't. You want an alternative, or you don't want to spend the money. What do you reach for? It's all right. I need something to cover this up because I don't want to waste it. I want to get that nose in there. So what I was going to suggest, which is still relatively hard to find. I'm not saying it's an easy bottle that you can just go pull off the shelf. I had a couple in mind. One I'm empty. This is Smoke Wagon, uncut, unfiltered. You notice it even says uncut, unfiltered on here. This is a barrel strength whiskey. Each batch is a little different proof. This one itself is 57.1% alcohol, which, doing my math, is 114.2 proof. Some are higher, some are lower. It's MGP juice blended in Las Vegas by Smoke Wagon people. It's fantastic stuff. Each batch is delicious. But it's about $30 cheaper, so it's around the $70 mark. You can find it. Texas usually has some, and they drop. Online retailers have them. So you got to consider, if you're doing that, consider shipping and all that. But it's a lot easier to get your hands on than this blend is. And it is often really, really fantastic. So let me give this a pour and give you a few notes on it. I'm not saying this is going to taste the same. I kind of tried to guess a little bit. But that's a beautiful bottle, isn't it? I mean, they're both beautiful bottles in their own way. But it's similar, I don't know, it's similar enough that it's kind of a replacement. A lot more fruit on the nose here. Still get some perfuming floralness, but a lot more fruit. A lot more of a lighter sweetness, maybe like a light brown sugar as opposed to a dark or a caramel. A little bit like a citrus twang. Still really does a lot of viscousness. You can even tell just on the nose. A lot of oils. All right, let's go to taste. A little more of a Four Roses-esque. So when I say perfumey on the blend, I guess I meant more floral, or I get more perfume in the Smoke Wagon on the taste. Like I get in a lot of, kind of like it's almost like a waxy sensation, but in a good way. I know that sounds like a bad note. To me, it's in a good way. And it kind of refreshes your palate for the next sip. It doesn't sit there. It's thick, but it's not cloying. A lot lighter, a lot fresher. Whereas this is like a deep sweet tea, you drink a few glasses of. This is a lot lighter, a lot more freshness. I guess that kind of citrus note kind of cleans your palate. A little bit shorter of a finish, but still a good, again, light sweetness, white sugar, light brown sugar kind of sweetness on the finish. A little barrel stringency. Really good. Let's compare it to this. It's not a fair comparison, honestly, but it's pretty dang good. They're in a similar realm. They really are. They're really kind of in that, if you go from a scale of floral to caramel sweetness, they're both on that kind of floral end. This is a little closer to the caramel side than this. Smoke Wagon's very layered. Again, each batch is a little different too, so take that with a grain of salt. But I mean, I would still, if I had $100 to spend on whiskey and I had to pick between these two, all right, let me rephrase it. If I had $150 to spend on whiskey, I could either get one of these and it'll come in 3 months, if I can find one, or get two of these and it comes, I can get it in at least a month and I know it's going to be around eventually. I'm probably going to reach for the Smoke Wagon. I'm going to always, if I can, have at least one of these on my shelf if I get the opportunity. Don't get me wrong, it's a little bit better. It's a good bit better. But it's hard to beat this Smoke Wagon uncut, unfiltered. It is so good. So that's my thoughts on that, y'all. Thanks for putting up with my ramblings. Is this worth it? Hell yes. Is this a good replacement? At least until you can find some? Absolutely. So thanks for watching, y'all. Cheers.